Theme 48. The media 2. 1. Informative. Informative. Example.
Town. They show films, they give talks and so on. It's a process which is playful and creative and informative.
If they're arrayed in space, that means the manner in which they're arrayed can be informative.
2. Unbiased. Unbiased. Example.
I mean, things aren't true just because a pastor or the Bible says so. You need unbiased evidence.
So, my completely unbiased, subjective opinion, it's brilliant.
3. Superficial. Superficial. Example.
Even when we did have conversations about race, our understanding was always superficial.
Image is powerful, but also image is superficial. I just totally transformed what you thought of me in 6 seconds.
4. Sensationalist. Sensationalist. Example.
Of TV news built for sensationalist entertainment instead of sensible education.
We also don't have the claims that get headlines, the sensationalist arguments.
5. Broadcast. Broadcast. Example.
And in 2004, they developed a channel called Al Hora Iraq, which specifically deals with events occurring in Iraq and is broadcast to Iraq.
Long before a little thing called Twitter, radio brought us broadcasts and connected millions of people to single points of broadcast.
6. Control. Control. Example.
If I could get in control, what would I do? If I could answer the question, how would I answer? It's all a conversation, my friend.
They want to go in and out of all the places they are because the thing that matters most to them is control over where they put their attention.
7. Exploit. Exploit. Example.
Just as wings open up the sphere of air for birds to exploit, language opened up the sphere of cooperation for humans to exploit.
What we have here is one exploit file. Here I'm looking at the hex dump of an image file which contains an exploit.
8. Intrude. Intrude. Example.
I have a staff member who I think has a mental health issue, but I don't want to intrude or invade in her privacy.
Enough space should be provided so that the edges of the curb ramp do not intrude onto the flat surface.
9. Inform. Inform. Example.
Do they see their role as being to inflame or to inform? Because in the end, it comes down to a combination of trust and leadership.
Even the slightest hint of color on the underbelly of a cloud would inform them and help them navigate with the keenest accuracy.
10. Picture. Picture. Example.
Picture that. You're seeing 15 sunsets and sunrises every day. You're also living in microgravity, floating.
Picture this. Your friend and you are watching a sitcom, and the sassy sidekick walks into a room carrying a 4-tiered wedding cake.
11. Unsuitable. Unsuitable. Example.
Which was expensive, offered little protection, and was unsuitable for the trenches.
Anyone with an unsuitable mix will be selected from the environment. Those with the right mix survive and can pass on their enhanced traits and characteristics.
12. Highlight. Highlight. Example.
The fact that Lou's sociopathic nature lets him excel in this world only serves to further highlight the real problem.
When you want to highlight a word, please don't waste your life dragging across it with the mouse like a newbie.
13. Print. Print. Example.
And I wanted to solve another challenge. I wanted to print textile that I would use just like a regular fabrics.
To match the aid payments made by those governments over the last 4 years, print aid would have generated $200 billion worth of extra aid.
14. Discover. Discover. Example.
Some discover all worship at the temple of possibility, that one discovery might change history.
We discover something, but we don't have the patience or the persistence to get at it and make it work.
15. Truth. Truth. Example.
So you can do it the way I did for most of my youth, living internally focused, never spreading the truth.
There's this myth that you have to go inward to find truth. But the truth he was saying is you have to go outward. If
16. Story. Story. Example.
Our eyes are not viewers, they are also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time.
Now, I wish I could tell you the story ends 30 years ago in that little discussion group, but I was reminded of it quite recently at my university where I teach.
17. Tradition. Tradition. Example.
And I think we need to get back to that sermon, tradition.
This tradition extended across the globe with European colonization and into modern times.
18. Party. Party. Example.
And this cryptocurrency enabled people to establish trust and do transactions without a third party.
And it started as with many great ideas, or many ideas you can't get rid of anyway, at a cocktail party.
19. Positive. Positive. Example.
You're not really committing yourself, but you're still saying yes, or it could be more positive.
The conventional view of emotions as good or bad, positive or negative, is rigid.
20. Negative. Negative. Example.
There's been a lot of folklore developed around the ocean, mostly negative.
So this is all in terms of kind of negative motivation or eliminating negative motivation.